And we are back here with more at Fox 12 now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Wayne Beckwith, and we appreciate you tuning in wherever it is that you're doing so, whether that's live or after the fact. Thanks for joining us. Right now, we're going to talk about something that you could do to have an experience akin to what it was like being on the Oregon Trail, in particular the Barlow Road up on Mount Hood. And this is coming from the 4-H Wagon Trail experience, and it's something that's been going on for years. And there's a couple of things. There's a tune-up event that's coming up this weekend, and then there's also the full week-long ride on a section of the Oregon Trail. We talked about this with Wayne Beckwith, who is the Wagon Train leader for this experience and for this expedition, and it's really fascinating to find out about it. I will say, just so you know, for the interview, Wayne is out in the field, you'll see here, with a buddy of his. So the reception got a little bit spotty at a couple of moments, so don't worry, that's from the interview, not something that's happening on your side of the things, but still a fascinating story and a good talk with Wayne. Here we go. Wayne, thank you for joining us here for this. I am excited to talk about this event coming up, what people can do, and just how this all works. I have to ask, though, would you mind to start off introducing yourself? And I did see that you do have kind of a co-host there with you, if you wouldn't mind introducing your co-host as well.
Yeah, my name is Wayne Beckwith, and I've been going on the 4-H wagon for 30 years. This is Tufa. He'll be one of the mules that's pulling my wagon. There'll be 2 or 3 others that'll help him. He's 24, and he's been doing this for several years also.
Nice. Well, great to have you and Tufa here on. So, Wayne, I want to ask you to start off, how does one get into this?
Well, I can tell the story about how I got into it. So I have a friend, his name's Larry Wyatt Yamhill, and he has mules. And years and years ago, another friend, Neil McCool, was going to go with him for his swamper on train. Now, swamper, that's what that is the person that helps the teamster. If you talk to one of the swampers, they probably say something like they do all the dirty work. They do what the teamsters don't want to do, but they help the teamster with the team harnessing and that kind of thing. Anyway, Neil couldn't go. So Larry called me and said, hey, Wayne, can you go? And I was teaching school at the time, and I had some of the summer off. I wasn't going to classes, so I said, well, yeah, I'll go half the time. And then my wife said, you know what, you just need, and I did, and that started it. I got hooked. I had one of my mules on that we brought along. Some of it was my harness. We borrowed a wagon, and we got on the 4-H wagon train, and it was a great experience. And actually, that first one was on the Barlow, that we're going to be going on this year.
Of course, one of the famous trails there for the famous roads for the Oregon Trail. From what I understand, too, you have some family history with the Oregon Trail. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So this trail that we're going on, the Barlow, was developed by Sam Barlow and Joel Palmer. Joel Palmer was the one who eventually became supervisor here in Yamhill County and started the city of Dayton, which I'm close to. But he and Sam Barlow talked to some Native Americans, and they said there's a trail between the Dalles over the mountain towards the Oregon City area. And, up to that point, the end of the Oregon Trail was the Dalles. And they had to go down a treacherous river. The Columbia was not a series of lakes like it is now. It was treacherous. There were horrible waterfalls and rapids, and it was expensive. You had to buy or rent a raft or build it, and you get all your stuff on there, and a lot of people perished along the way. So they said, you know what, there's got to be a better way. And I think Sam Barlow had actually lost a son on the Columbia trying to make that water route. So they decided to make the Barlow, and they got part through with their wagons and then had to spend the winter there. They made a camp, but Sam Barlow and Joe Palmer made it all the way to Oregon City, then came back, and eventually, 1846, they got the Barlow opened up. It became a toll road, and as it goes, that part of the Oregon Trail was probably the worst part of the whole trip, and people had to pay. People were not excited about that, but it was really the safer way to go. So my great-great-grandmother, her name was Lucinda, she had 5 kids, the youngest, and her husband and his 2 parents started off with a wagon with 6 oxen from Missouri, and along the Platte River, her husband and the 2 in-law parents died of the cholera. So the rest of the way with those 5 kids all the way to Oregon. And they started off, like I said, with 6 oxen. They ended up in Oregon with the family cow tied to a 2-wheel cart and the kids helping getting it up the hills because, again, that was the hardest part of the trail right there at the end. So,
Wow.
yeah, I have a history. That's the trail we're going to be on.
What is left of the Barlow Road and Trail that you're going to get to experience?
Yeah, so there is a lot of it that's still there. As you leave the Dalles, you can pick it up. It goes out through Ty Valley and out that area, Wamak, and then you get onto the actual trail. A lot of it now is Forest Service, and we'll get up into the area where you cross the White River, and there's a campground there. You can go on the actual trail. The trail moves a little bit, just like it did back then. You know, if big trees fall or there's a rock slide or something, it may move a little bit. But there's several places that pretty much stay the same because it's the only way through there. And this year we're going to have some trees if they haven't been cleared, because last time we checked there was a lot of trees down on the trail. So we'll be doing that. And then on the side of my wagon here, we got a handsaw, and if a tree goes down while we're there, we like to save one tree anyway. The handle's on the saw that I have in the wagon, and the kids get to help, and we cut the tree in half and then hook the mules or a team of horses onto it and pull it out of the road. But there are parts of it that are pretty authentic. There's one called Little Laurel Hill, and we'll be on that. It's very steep and rocks the size of your head, and it's probably worse now than it was then because people go in there with Jeeps and things, and it's eroded away, so they're big. It's a very treacherous part of the trail, but we go on it, and we've been on it several years. We'll be going again this year.
When you're going out on this experience, how authentic is this going to be compared to what those original pioneers went through?
Well, so this wagon, even though it didn't go on the Oregon Trail, this is a newer model. This is an 1886 model. September 11th, 1886 is a manufacturer's date on this. But we have authentic wagons. We have animals pulling them. We have people walking. We set up shelters at night. We do chores. We've never buried anyone along on the trail, or we haven't had a call. We don't do everything that the pioneers had. We have a cook shack, a modern cook shack that we pull for the next camp. So every day we go 7 to 12 miles or so, and most people are walking, like on the real wagon train, most people walked. Some of us will be riding some kind of equine, a mule or a horse. Some of us, like me, will be on a wagon being pulled by animals. But then we get into camp and we have portable potties, so we call them biffies that we have, because nowadays, you know, you can't take 75 or 100 people as easily as you could back then. So we have porta potties and we have a cook shack, and so we eat well, not like the pioneers. We're not running out of food when we get to the Barlow and eating only hardtack and, you know, trying to cook grass for salad. We don't do those kind of things. But there's a lot of realism to it. Find out what it's like to walk, you know, on the hot part of the day sometimes, and do a few chores, help with dishes, those kinds of things, and definitely see the animals, exactly the same kind of wagons and harness that was used, you know, back in the 1800s. So there's a lot of realism, but we don't risk people's lives like was done then, you know.
Yeah, no dysentery situations.
I mean, there was no turning back. There was no turning back.
Yeah.
We actually have a paramedic on the site, and we have a full paramedic system that we have supplies and everything in case of emergencies. You're going to be walking, you'll have a water bottle and a good hat and some sunscreen, but it's still nature and it'll bear down on you. But at the end of the day, it's amazing. After a week of being out on the wagon train, there are tears and hugs when we do our ceremony for leaving, like these people for their lives, you know. It's an amazing program where you get a real chance to experience nature and to be in connection with other people, to focused on getting to Oregon, or in this case, going on the trail.
So this is a week-long experience. Can you tell me, how this works as far as if people want to join in on the wagon?
Yeah. So this year, the 12th through 18th, and if you go on our website, we are the only 4-H wagon train in the world. So if you type in 4-H wagon train, you'll get us. But 4hwagontrain.org is our official website, and it'll have all kinds of information on things, what to bring and what to expect. There's a lot of good pictures on how we have functioned in the past, and it also gives you a chance to register. And registration is still open for you to go on the trek. That'll be open the 8th of June, I believe, is the last day it closes. And we'll be going in July. So right down to the wire. But an event this next weekend, which is June 6th and 7th, is what we call tune-up. And that's just a weekend-long adventure. And what that is kind of like it sounds. We're tuning up. We're seeing some animals, some saddle horses have never seen a wagon before. Some of the draft horses or mules haven't been around others as much, so they need to get used to it. You might have a pair of shoes you need to break. You see if your water bottle hooks onto your belt the way you like it. So we're going to spend 2 days. And this happens at the Oregon Education Center, which used to be the 4-H Center. It's about halfway between McMinnville and Salem. And again, that address is on the website. But we'll spend the weekend having a wagon train. Basically, Saturday, people show up. We'll have a little orientation. We'll go out on the trail. We'll come home, come back to camp. We'll set up a camp. We'll divide into pioneer families. We'll have a meal together, a good meal. Usually do some dancing and singing, and then we get up early. There'll be a horrible sound in the morning. I blow a bugle that I never practice, so it sounds really bad, and it wakes you up very good. And so that'll be on Sunday morning, and then we'll go out again on the trail. So you'll get a real sample of what the Oregon, the 4-H Oregon wagon train is like. And then you can make a good decision. Well, this looks like it's something I can do, or maybe not for me. So the tune-up is a good way to find out what we're really like. And we really like people to do that before they come on the trek, just so they'll be prepared. As you're putting your stuff together, you realize, oh man, I really should have had, such and bring. So maybe I forgot my headlamp or whatever. And it's a good time to go through that checklist and make sure that you got things the way you want it for the trek.
Well, it sounds amazing. And, Wayne, I want to thank you for joining us here to talk about this too, and to give us this preview of the event and let us know, what to expect. It's really amazing. And
all right.
And thank you very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now also.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to, I think this is a program that people should look at. It's something you don't get a chance to do every day. Worth the effort. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Wayne. And I forgot to say thanks to Wayne's buddy there as well. But either way, definitely fascinating and way to experience some of that, what it was like. Within it's something that a lot of people can go out to as well for that, as we mentioned, the first event that's coming up, and then the full week-long ride as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and continue on with Fox 12 Now, and thanks everybody for joining us. We are live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We'll be back right after this.